Come and dream with me.
Welcome to What Do You Want to Watch, the Explosion Network's premier media podcast. Every week we get together, talk about movies, TV, and online content, help answer the question, is the fact Hasbro tried to get children to sign away their voice rights on Peppa Pig so they could use AI to recreate them the most messed up use of AI yet? Possibly. I'm your host, Ash Nobley. Joining me today, Dylan Blight.
Sorry, explain that again. Peppa Pig.
Yeah, so has in that contract for the kids who are doing voices for Peppa Pig, Hasbro wanted them to sign away their rights or voice rights, whatever, so they could train AI to recreate their voices for future use. And, you know, of course, the agents kind of pushed back. And then Hasbro was kind of like,
Was it
you
a?
either sign or you either sign or you don't.
Didn't Peppa Pig have wasn't it the whole thing where like it's had two voice actresses because the kid got too old or something anyway?
Probably. I mean, I think that's probably a recurring thing with any child voices, you know.
So which one are you voice training it on then?
I think they're trying to get everybody.
Right, okay.
Get all of them, you know, lock in the current ones and then, you know, train it so they never have to hire a person again, would be my guess.
Yeah, terrible, disgusting.
Pretty bad. And that's just the first example, you know. I think probably because kids are involved, it just sounds extra bad, but
yeah.
But also, that voice is only going to be that voice for a certain amount of time. So, I mean, it's not the worst. I mean, it's...
Well, it is. You're taking money out of... Like, because then it's replaced by another girl whose family gets the money. And then that money could be...
you're not letting another child work underage to get...
There are rules for child actors, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I've watched...
I'm just looking where the grey areas are. Yeah, sorry.
I've watched the rehearsal.
Okay. That's true. All those babies.
All them babies.
All right, on today's episode, we'll be talking about what's in our watch history, going over the film news, giving thumbs to the trailers, and give this week's top 3, kicking things off over on all new DC cast. We've done our spoiler cast for Supergirl, the latest entry in the DCU, starring Australia's Millie Alcock, directed by Craig Gillespie, which features Supergirl, who, you know, her dog gets injured and she has to go track down the person responsible. It's pretty much a very simple by the numbers synopsis. Dylan, what are your thoughts on Supergirl, and have they changed in the last...
No, my thoughts haven't changed.
72 hours?
72 hours. Supergirl was disappointing, unfortunately. You know, obviously Superman was this stellar start to the new DC universe that we got. And Supergirl just falls so flat. It just falls right into that just exactly sloppy sort of superhero film where it's just so average, it's annoying. Especially is that I feel like it's even harsher, or like, not that I'm trying to be harsh on it, but just simply because it's more disappointing because it's the second DCU film after a strong start that's just a little bit more disappointing, and it's missing the uniqueness and the vibe of we're going to be different that so far you'd got across Superman and Peacemaker and I've watched a bit animated show, you know, like we're doing this DCU different. You know, you watch the trailer for the Clayman? Clayface. Oh my God, I'm forgetting people's names. And then you watch the trailer for Clayface, obviously, and you're like, man, DCU just vibing all over the place. They're going to do what they want, all these different types of styles and genres. And Supergirl just feels like it's just chasing the Marvel vibes too hard, and they just fall into... I'm going to compare it to it again, even though you hated it, but it just felt Thor: The Dark World to me. Like, it just felt so bland. It was so forgettable. Millie Alcock's good though. That's my positive.
Yeah, I think it's not a good movie. It's disappointing for multiple reasons. One, because it is not a good movie, and like it's kind of... that's frustrating. But it's also disappointing because there's all these people who have set their sights on this movie, have been working against it, and like telling you how shit it's going to be, and like all the like, for whatever whether it's they don't like women in their movies, or the smarter faction of fans who want this DCU to burn.
Yeah.
So for them to have a lot of ammunition coming out of this is annoying and frustrating. But I feel like, yeah, it is just kind of this frustrating movie to watch because it is, I think, I keep coming back to the fact that I think it trying to be an action film is what worked against it. I think this could have been a really interesting character piece, getting into Supergirl and kind of distinguishing what makes her different, kind of being this story of grief and all that kind of stuff, which is all the rage at the moment. Everybody loves stories about grief, so you could have delved more into that. But because it is trying to be an action movie, it puts this time limit on the film. Like in the comic is based on, there's no 72-hour ticking clock that's been introduced to hype up the action and like get people invested in the events quickly taking place and that kind of stuff. And I think that all backfires because then everything just happens too quickly and it doesn't feel earned. I feel like the connections that Kara and Ruthie, the girl she's going on this journey with, develop happen too quickly and all that kind of stuff. I feel like it's maybe a little bit too short. They could have had some more content in there, and kind of like done a lot more with the character and that kind of stuff. So that's really frustrating. But like you said, Amelia Alcock is really good with what she gets to do, which is a positive, especially as I think she already said they're currently shooting Man of Tomorrow, which she's involved in. And they've said that she is a prominent part of that film. So that's promising. That's a good thing to come out of it. I think Jason Momoa's Lobo is pretty good. I mean, I'd be interested to see him in more stuff, but I don't think this was a fantastic showcase of him. I think I went to this movie thinking Lobo was going to kind of steal the movie, and that was definitely not the case. He was just another part of it who showed up, and again, kind of didn't really get enough time, not enough time to apart from everybody, and also enough time in the movie, I guess. And yeah, I don't think they showcased him particularly well. So, but I will say the other person who came out of this looking really great is David Cronswell as Superman, just further cementing his version of Superman is really good. Like him being the really lovely cousin. I think he gets like maybe 2-3 scenes in the movie. Like one's over video chat and like 2 other scenes, but they're all super memorable because at least for me, because coming to love this version of Superman. So
yeah. The only positive really is that Millie Alcock paired with the overall direction and the tone of this Supergirl is good. It's just the movie, the script, everything, direction, whatever, that was all bad, but like you don't feel bad about seeing more Millie Alcock as Supergirl in other things. You're like, that's fine. That's no problem with that. It's just this as a debut story is
kind of frustrating. That being said, I don't think it's the worst superhero movie that we've seen by any stretch of the imagination. Anything within that Sony villain universe, I think is
it's nothing comparable to like Morbius.
Far worse, probably even stronger than some of the MCU films that we've gotten recently.
Yeah.
So
it's not that bad. It's just I still don't think it's good, but it's not that bad.
It's just not doing well. It is also not doing well at the box office. So where is it sitting at the moment? Had it here a second ago. Wikipedia says it has made $68 million worldwide in its opening weekend, which is not great. Although I saw a report that the film had already almost made its money back already on like endorsement deals and like marketing arrangements and that kind of stuff, because there has been a lot of
there's been a lot
of tie-ins and that kind of stuff. So potentially it won't be a huge loss for Warner Brothers, like in totality. But those hoping this would be a big box office success to shove in the face of certain fans, that's not going to happen. So unless there's a massive turnaround, which I can't imagine with the slate of movies about to hit cinemas. So
no.
All right, let's talk about one of the other movies that we talked about somewhere else. Minions and Monsters, the latest entry in the Despicable Me / Minions franchise. This one directed by Pierre Coffin, who is, of course, also the voice of the Minions. And we are jumping back to the 1920s, in which the Minions have come across the world of Hollywood. One Minion called James desperately wants to make his own movie and has come up with the idea of Minions versus monsters. So he summons a monster. Shenanigans ensue. Shenanigans definitely ensue. I enjoyed this one a lot. I think it's a lot of fun. It might be on the higher end of this franchise. I think they know the tone that they wanted to go to. They're not given any fun story. No, they're not trying to play with your emotions or go tell anything deep or meaningful. They're just here for slapstick fun. And then they've stuck it within this movie history storyline where the Minions have kind of fallen into Hollywood right during the advent of cinema, and kind of inserting themselves into movie history. I think is a lot of fun. There's some crazy side stories and that kind of stuff, but I think overall this is the Minions playing to their strengths.
Yeah, I enjoyed 2/3 of it. I thought it was really, really good. And then the last third, I think, dives off a little bit. The first 2/3 of the movie is pretty much the Minions ensue in shenanigans as they fall into Hollywood. There's a lot of really good jokes about old school Hollywood and current Hollywood, and amongst that are going to go over little kids' heads. But I thought it was a lot of fun. And generally, the vibe is silly minions doing silly minion things, like they get a bunch of bananas. It's great. I loved it. Good bit, minions get bananas. Good bit. The last third, I just think the commitment to doing the look, monsters just weren't necessary in my mind is pretty much how I felt about this movie. It's called Minions and Monsters. Once the monsters become involved in the last third, sort of turns into just an actual kaiju monster movie a bit. And I'm like, I understand that it's like A to Z of writing a screenplay a little bit where you got to have it like escalate and then, a big thing at the end. But I just think Minions getting into shenanigans was more than enough to make the movie
bigger
work.
Shenanigans.
Bigger shenanigans could have been more than enough, I think.
Although I guess the biggest shenanigan is setting a monster on all the world.
That's not shenanigans.
Like fun
that's
shenanigans.
Fun shenanigans, yeah.
That's danger.
Yeah, that's world-ending danger. We just want fun.
Yeah. So, Minions and Monsters. Interestingly, came to here Australia first. It is releasing in the US this week, so that's intriguing. So yeah, go check out Minions and Monsters if it's playing near you. If it's about to play near you. All right. I also checked out.
A quick question before you go on. Did you watch that by yourself or with your little brother?
With my younger brothers, yeah.
Yeah.
They enjoyed it.
Yeah, I was about to say, surely, yeah.
Yeah. What about you? You were in a room with a bunch of kids?
I think there was only one kid. There was a lot of teenagers.
What time?
6:10? 6:30?
Okay, that might be a little bit late for families,
Maybe it's a bit late, yeah. So, but no, there wasn't many kids in mine, so yeah. However, when I went and watched Supergirl, as we sort of talked about before we recorded the discussion for all new DC cast for that, I was heading into Supergirl. Wasn't that many people in Supergirl on opening night, but there was a lot of people heading into the cinema across the road, across the hall. Presumably all for Minions. I didn't double check times, but they were families. They were all for family. Well, they could have been, but it's one of those twos. But it just, Supergirl is up against two family animated films, and I think that's also another problem for that film's box office.
Yeah, and it's not. Supergirl is not as much as it probably wants to position itself. It's not this girl power movie. It's not going to get young girls clamoring for it. No. Especially with some of the darker subject matter. On the tertiaries of that film. So, all right, I went to the cinema and checked out Death of Robin Hood, which is the latest film from Pig director Michael Sarnowski. He also did A Quiet Place Day One, and follows Robin Hood, played this time by Hugh Jackman in the final years of his life. Very interesting take on Robin Hood, in that this version of Robin Hood says that he wasn't someone. All the legends that you know about Robin Hood are fake, were myths that he told in order to recruit merry men to join him. But he was actually just a bandit who stole from people and murdered and killed people and that kind of stuff. So all these years later, he is living a life of regret, like kind of just getting by day to day and kind of hoping that one day he will have an honorable death of someone coming to seek revenge. I don't think I'm spoiling anything, but like the first scene is a young girl, like, I don't know, teen girl, finding him in the middle of nowhere, effectively seeking revenge against him. And he kills her because he's Robin Hood. He's like, faster, stronger, that kind of stuff. So, he's this guy who's done all these awful things and is now living a life where all these people are seeking revenge against him for horrors that he committed to being against their loved ones. But he comes across Little John, who, of course, Little John from the stories, who has now given up that life, has tried to start a new life as Edward, but that life is upended. In the fracas from that, Robin Hood is injured and he winds up on this island in the middle of, I don't know, where is the island? He ends up in like an island with like a prairie on it, with Jodie Comer's character like playing like a nun, I guess, who like nurses himself back to health. And it's kind of this, story of, it's this interesting story. Very somber. Like the first, like maybe 20 minutes, there's some super high level violence, solid action, like very bloody and that kind of stuff. But then it becomes this very slow, methodical character piece of Robin Hood kind of coming to terms with what his life has been, and I guess slowly deteriorating, and seeing the impact he's had on people as certain characters also show up on this island. I'm just kind of torn as to why it needed to be Robin Hood, because they're setting up. They said, they're all lies or whatever. Rather than, I guess, maybe from like a marketing point of view, as some like fun Easter eggs into the history of Robin Hood that are like kind of told at the end. There's like even a very specific moment I know from the death of Robin Hood that they do like a twist on, I guess, kind of. That was nice. But yeah, I think if you're going into this
without watching it, because I haven't watched it, I do want to watch it obviously. Without having watched it, is it less that it needs to be at Robin Hood and more that I guess the film just wants to explore our own mythos and like building people up? Like something like that.
I don't think so. I don't think it doesn't really dive into myth or anything.
Okay.
I guess there's a certain amount of reputation, I guess, that is necessary for the story, and that's why it was Robin Hood. But I mean, that's the thing that was kind of going through my head the entire movie, just like, why does this need to be Robin Hood? But Hugh Jackman is really good, like almost kind of unrecognizable. He's got massive beard, long hair, all white. I mean, he's really good. Jodie Comer is really fantastic. Bill, which there's a Skarsgård in this one. I'm trying to remember which one. It's Bill. Bill Skarsgård plays Little John for
Pennywise.
Yes, Pennywise.
Yeah, Bill.
And then there's a leper character within this film who is pretty much covered in bandages almost the entire film, and like is like another main character in the film who was slowly like dying. He's played by Murray Bartlett, who is unrecognizable, both voice and depiction wise, who's really fantastic and like is another really important character in the film. So I thought it's a very interesting film. I definitely don't think it's going to be for everybody, but it's definitely one that had been.
You haven't watched Pig either, have you?
No, I have not. Do you know?
No,
but I know I should check out that
Yeah.
John Wick with a pig film. So
Yeah, but it's definitely not John Wick. Because that's the thing. Everyone watched the trailer and they think it's John Wick with a pig, but it's actually just a sad movie. It's not really the guy. Never spoilers for that movie, but he never goes John Wick. That's not what the. I feel like the marketing sort of did a
yes,
disservice to that one a bit. But
that's my favorite recurring joke with this director. So, yeah, intriguing film. So, would recommend if that sounds good for you. All right, Dylan, you checked. You've like binge watched a recent Apple TV Plus series that I know has been getting a lot of buzz. Talk to me about Widow's Bay.
Yeah, so I had seen Widow's Bay getting a lot of buzz. It just finished like late June. I think I started binging it like the week after the finale aired, pretty much, or something like that. And I'd seen people talking about it a bit, so I was like, man, I should probably catch up on this because it is in the genre that I enjoy, which is comedy horror, I guess. And people saying it's like, and I mean, the thing is, a lot of the Apple TV shows are really good. We sort of talk about how they definitely have a quality over quantity, and we have quantity over quality, so we're the opposite of Apple TV in a lot of ways. But so I was like, check it out. Loved it. Absolutely love this show. The pitch is pretty much that it's set on this island, a New England island of some sort. Like, you know, you sort of catch a ferry out there, take a couple of hours to get away from the mainland sort of location. And everyone there at the start of the series, you learn that the mayor, who's played by Matthew Rhys, he's sort of trying to bring tourism back to this place, but a lot of people there believe in this, you know, superstition and stuff like that. And then one of the guys, played by Stephen Root, he begins, you know, claiming all these signs are pointing towards something, the island's summoning something or whatever. And at first, Matthew Rhys's character as the mayor doesn't believe any of it, but as the series progresses, weirder and weirder things and stuff keeps happening. It's very funny. I don't think it's particularly scary. It's in the realm of comedy horror you can 100% watch. It's got like a jump scare once, I think, in the whole show. But otherwise, it's just like, it's just more, it plays with mood, but like it does that good comedy horror sort of thing. Well, there's different types of comedy horror. You can be like Evil Dead. The original ones were like comedy horror to a degree, but they were like horror first, then a little bit of comedy. This is like comedy first with a little bit of horror, you know. But it's like they'll do like good bits where it's like they'll build up the tension and whatever scare, and you might get a couple of minutes of something being tense and scary, but it's always like sort of ended off with the joke to completely lighten the mood or the tone. There's like for example, there's one part where I think it's in the third episode, maybe. It's like Matthew Rhys's character goes and stays in this hotel because he gets told that they're not going to open up for this tourism that he wants to bring in unless he can stay in there. And I won't spoil that whole thing, but towards the end of that episode, the guy who's the manager or whatever of the hotel also obviously wants tourism to come in. But then Stephen Root's character, who believes in all this stuff, is like, all right, well, I dare you to go into that room because there's something about this particular room that's like, you can't go in. He's like, so the guy steps in, he's like, all right, close the door then. And they close the door and they like count for 3 seconds. It's like, all right, then open the door, opens up the door, and the other guy's just in there like freaking the fuck out. And you can tell that like what seems like 3 seconds for him has been, for us has been however long. You can tell like he's like, can I come out now? And like, I don't know, there's just all these little funny things. But the standout is really for the show is, what's the name? I was trying to find it because didn't really know her prior to this. Kate O'Flynn, what's she done? Nothing that stands out in front of me. She's like the mayor's secretary, assistant, I don't know, something like that, along those sorts of lines. But she's fucking fantastic. She has one episode in this particular season where, the show where she both has to outrun a potential serial killer that is very funny, and then also another episode where, without spoiling it, she tries to throw this party for everyone on the island that just goes completely haywire. And when they reveal what's actually happening at the end of the episode, it's a lot of fun. Yes, so I would highly recommend. There's just everyone in this is great, and I think it has a great mixture of jokes and lore building around it, and it sets it primed. By the end of the first season, you're sort of set up for the direction the show's going to go. That's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's from one of the main writers from Parks and Rec, for like tone wise, I guess, as far as the comedy. But yes, Widow's Bay, very good. One of my favorite TV shows I watched this year, easily.
Okay, keen to check that out. All right, and this weekend I binge watched the final season of The Bear, season 5, which brings the series to a reasonably definitive conclusion. I don't know how much I want to say about. Obviously, they left things off with a rather large cliffhanger where the restaurant was very much on its last legs. Uncle Jimmy, Oliver Platt's character, who's been funding the restaurant, has run out of money and is unable to like keep the restaurant going at the end of last season. And a certain character made a rather large life decision that will be revealed over the course of this season to other characters who weren't involved in that discussion. Structurally, this season is interesting in that there's 8 episodes rather than the usual 10, I think. But like the last 2 are like feature length. So really, it's 10 episodes. It's just the last 2 episodes, like 2 episodes instead of 1. Although this is a show that like has been rather fluid with its episode length, to be fair. But structurally, it's interesting because 7 of the 8 episodes all take place on the one day. It's like all these episodes are leading up to this one service session in the Bear, which is interesting. I feel like it's interesting because it is the final season, and you're like, I really want to see more of these characters and what they're gonna do, and like kind of spread their wings more. But it's like this very self-contained, like character piece about this final one day in the Bear, where everything kind of goes to shit because there is a massive storm. Everything is flooded. The walls, the pipes within the Bear start to blow. Someone falls through the roof while they're trying to repair stuff. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong in this episode, and it's the team trying to work their way through this terrible situation to serve people. And I had a good time. I think as someone who has liked the last couple of seasons, despite them not being quite to the caliber of season 1 or season 2, I think there's still a lot to enjoy here. I don't necessarily love where every single character ends up, but I think there's definitely some high highs in this season. I think episode 7 is one of the more impressive episodes of The Bear, just because there's this beautiful build as everything starts to kind of come together, and all these there's some really lovely character moments, that kind of stuff built through this episode, and that kind of stuff. So I think if you've made it through all your way, or if you made it through season 4, you definitely need to do yourself a favor to watch season 5, because I think there's some really great payoffs to characters in this final season, and I think it will be remembered as a show that was quickly beloved, but then I saw somebody else call the show as it went on more prickly, and I think that's definitely a case of what the show became. It was willing to not be, its edges sanded off and that kind of stuff. So, I mean, really, it's an achievement in that they were able to get the cast to stick around for 5 seasons when
I was going to say
they became
bigger stars,
the most wanted people in Hollywood. So, really great season. The season also doesn't have the crazy. I say this, it doesn't have the constant guest cast name drop people like massive actors showing up and that kind of stuff. There is one big one that like a reasonably prominent person shows up right near the end of the final episode. I'm like, they couldn't get away with doing it, not bringing somebody in the last season. But
Do you love guest actors on this?
they do love the guest actors. So yeah, The Bear. I think it goes off on a good note. All right, let's move into the mandatory Netflix segment of the show. Dylan, you checked out the new film on Netflix, Little Brother, starring John Cena and Eric Andre as brothers?
So we watched the trailer for this one. I can't remember if I said it looked bad or good. I can't remember. But I did decide to watch it basically because I like Eric Andre. So
I think that was pretty much your opinion on it, yes.
that adds up. Yeah, cool. It is just look. I'll say this. It's just your normal Netflix movie that has been designed to watch while you're doing nothing much else. But if you enjoy John Cena and Eric Andre separately, they have good chemistry together. Oddly, they're like an odd pairing that weirdly works in this. Even when you add in Michelle Monaghan and Christopher Maloney, the four of them, which make up sort of the core cast, and then like Cherie Henriques as well, I guess. The five of them are sort of the core cast of this movie. It's just such an odd pairing, but they all weirdly work really well together. Like there's not. I think there would be a different version of this movie where it's like maybe someone else was cast in Michelle Monaghan's role, or she wasn't willing to. Some of the actress wasn't willing to sort of commit to this sort of silly storyline. Doesn't make it, but it does. But the story for this, because I remember the trailer sort of confused us as well. A little bit, and I think it's maybe because it's based on a real thing in America that just our minds didn't click on to how it's working. But so it's basically there's a program in America called Little Brother Big Brother, and John Cena's character, when he's in college or whatever, signs up and does the program where he goes and be's a big brother to someone, and that is Eric Andre's character when he was a younger kid at the time. So he's sort of an acting big brother to someone in need, and there's something he signs up to do, and he signs up to do it because he at the time he thought it would look good on his
resume or whatever,
college application or whatever. Yeah, that's why he signs up.
The only reason Americans do nice stuff. Yeah.
Yes. Now the whole reason they end up coming back together, I'm going to spoil like the first 10 minutes of the movie, is that at some stage Eric Andre's character had been emailing and reached out to John Cena's character and sent an email like, hey man, it'd be great, blah, 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 whatever. And John Cena tells his assistant, played by Cherie Henriques, to respond and say, hey man, been great, blah, just some generic thing. Pretty much go like, good to hear from you, but I don't want to talk to you nicely, sort of thing. Because John Cena is like some big time realtor sort of dude now. But Cherie Henriques, Eric Andre's character replies to the message, and then Cherie Henriques' character, who's John Cena's assistant, feels bad for him and begins having a conversation. And over years, the two have been emailing where Cherie Henriques is pretending to be John Cena's character. So when Eric Andre's character thinks he has this big relationship with this guy, that's still, and they care about each other and whatever. So then when he gets into a car accident, he's put him down as emergency contact, and he shows up because he thinks it's actually his real brother. He's played by Christopher Maloney. Anyway, that's sort of the setup for the first 10 minutes of the movie. And yeah, shenanigans ensue, I guess, similar to Minions at that point. I mean, end of the day, the moral of the message of the movie is pretty straightforward, sort of found family sort of thing. You get to see Eric Andre do some of his more outrageous style of humor that he likes to do in his things. Nothing that's to the equivalent of his own produced things or whatnot, but there's more level of crude humor in this than you might expect in other Netflix comedies. So it's a bit of fun. I enjoyed it for what it was. But yeah, no, you know what? I enjoyed it for what it was. I'll say that.
So I checked out the Netflix documentary Noah Kahan Out of Body, which is Noah Kahan is folk pop artist, I guess, is the best way to describe him. Someone that whose music I discovered recently and have been listening to a lot. So I happened across this documentary on Netflix, and it's like very much like a deep dive into his history and that kind of stuff. He is like a kid who grew up with a reasonably big family in Vermont, like 4 or 5 kids. He's all his siblings are like very successful, or like one of them's a pediatric surgeon, and one of them's a firefighter, and one of them like works like in a really important business, and then he is a singer. He sings and that kind of stuff. He is a very fun character because he is like kind of separate and self-deprecating and that kind of stuff. But he kind of delves into a lot of like his own personal problems. Like he suffered, he's has issues with body dysmorphia, and like has like a relationship issue with his father and that kind of stuff. And delving into like the film kind of peels back the curtain into it a little bit, even more so than I guess his music does. Um, but then all his family are involved, and it's revealed that his father had like a really bad accident, like had a brain. He went into a coma when Noah was 6, and like his dad kind of changed after that moment, like from some sort of brain injury and that kind of stuff. So, kind of this story of him trying to relate to his father, or like kind of come to some sort of understanding about his relationship with his father and that kind of stuff. But then it also is the story of him um, finding success. Like he wrote his album Stick Season just after COVID, when he was stuck at home in Vermont with his parents and that kind of stuff. And um, writing that album just kind of clicked with a lot of people, and with the advent of like TikTok as well, and him posting on that, like he found a incredibly high level of success. Have been touring for several years. The major lead up for the documentary is he's going to play Fenway Park, which is a big baseball stadium in Boston near where he grew up and that kind of stuff. So it was a really important venue to perform at. And that's kind of a lot of the doc. I guess they shot most of this leading up to that show. But then they also like jump forward and like into the writing and recording of his next album and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I think it was very fascinating. I think if you're a No Calm fan, it's a must watch. I think there's this really sweet moment where he's like with a I want to say Make-A-Wish kid who comes into like a back room, and she's like really loves him and that kind of stuff, and tells him what her favorite song is, and he plays it for her and that kind of stuff. It's very sweet. So yeah, I mean, I think it's really good, even though I don't think it's more cookie cutter than, I don't think it's like changing the genre in any way, but it is a really nice piece on a upping, like a prominent musical figure at the moment. So check that out. All right, that's everything I watched this year. Let's move on to a little bit of film news. Now, I really don't know how to pronounce this. The Annecy International Animation Film Festival has been taking place the last couple of weeks, and there has been a bunch of news that has dropped out of this festival. So I'm going to cover a bunch of it. Probably most maybe eye-catching is that we are getting a bunch of new DC animated shows in the pipeline. The biggest one is they are going to be adapting Absolute Batman to animation, I guess. Reading for Polygon, DC dropped over 7-foot tall news on Thursday. Absolute Batman, the best-selling DC comic series, is heading to the small screen. An Absolute Batman show is in the works, as announced at Annecy Animation Fest. The Absolute line of comics reimagines DC heroes by striking them back to the core. In Batman's case, that means taking away his wealth, his butler, and many of his gadgets, while giving him a bad axe in the process. He isn't taken away, however. Absolute Batman is a construction worker with the mind of an engineer and the body of an NFL linebacker. Absolute Batman mixes up the expected Batman canon in other ways too, like turning some of Batman's enemies into allies. Created by writer Scott Snyder and artist Nick Dragotta, Absolute Batman has sold over 6 million copies across 21 published issues, nominated for Eisner Awards and that kind of stuff. The series, they haven't really put a date on it, but I believe Scott Snyder is involved. But that's a pretty big, quick turnaround on one of their big successes, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show how in line the production pipeline between finger on the pulse for what's successful in the comics to turning it around into recycling that medium into another one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's also interesting because they also like announced the second season of Batman Cape Crusader, which is obviously a Prime show. So
Third, isn't it?
it'll
Isn't the
be
second one just about to come out? Isn't it?
no
Oh, no.
second season.
Okay.
So I guess technically they'll have like 2 Batman shows running at the same time. 3 if the Batwheel show is still going. I don't know if that's still
Batfink.
Batfink. There's a bunch of Batman stuff. So yeah, I think that's like captured a lot of interest. So it's not surprising, but I guess the turnaround, like committing to that. You an element of you was like, is that too many versions of Batman
Well, that's
going at
my
the same time?
yeah. That's my thing.
It's like I suspect the Cape Crusader version is probably not long for this world. But you've got on top of that, you've got Robert Pattinson's Batman, the other version of live action Batman that want to have that's like part of the DCU, like, and then you got this version and that kind of stuff. So I think that's interesting. Although they did just release, I think just released or about to release like the first part of their adaptation of Batman Nightfall as part of their original, their like in-house animation team. Like, you know how they do the directed sale
Yeah.
animated films? They're doing the Nightfall trilogy, which looks pretty solid. And from what the reports from Annecy from the premiere were very well received. So that's something to look forward to. They also announced that the Joker is getting their own series. Again, reading from Polygon. In the 1993 episode Batman the Animated Series, the man who killed Batman, an unremarkable criminal, seemingly kills Batman by pushing him into an exploding gas tank. The Joker doesn't buy it and decides to rob a museum to see if Batman will show up to stop him. When he doesn't, the Joker just puts the stolen goods back and laments, "Without Batman, crime has no punchline." Now that setup is being turned into a new adult animated series announced at Annecy Festival. In Joker Laugh Riot, Batman is murdered and the Clown Prince of Crime goes on a ruthless crusade through Gotham's underworld to try to find his killer. Joker becomes more vigilante than villain and has to figure out who he is without his greatest adversary. Maybe he'll take out a page from Joker and Harley Quinn, who gave up crime for a while to become mayor. Yasuhiro Aoki directs the series with Gotham by Gaslight and Justice League Crisis by Infinite Earths writer Jim Krieg serving executive producer. Very interesting. Obviously, doesn't seem to be based on anything, but that's an interesting conceit. The director of Greg Yasuhiro Aoki directed Gotham by Gaslight and did the anime film KO. So I believe it's going to be slightly anime style. So that's interesting. That's a fun twist.
I don't mind the ones like that over the. I guess I'd prefer more like that than the commitment to like 10 episode animated things and or even canon stuff. You know what I mean? Fun stuff.
Do weird, wild stuff. Of course, all that DC stuff is on top of the already confirmed Mr. Miracle show. My Adventures with Green Lantern is coming up, and then they announced that there's currently in development an untitled kids show focused on superpowered pop crypto. So that's exciting. Although the most intriguing DC related news to me, like only a tidbit, but they gave a little bit more information about the dynamic duo puppet animated film that they're working on. Apparently, like they showed a little bit of footage from that, but apparently it's going to be about Dick Grayson and Jason Todd, who are like, I don't know, friends on the streets of Gotham. Who, when Dick gets taken in by Batman, Jason is taken in by the Red Hood gang, and I was like, that's like this divergent point between these two people's lives. So that sounds very intriguing. So
fun idea, yeah.
That's a fun idea. Also announced at Annecy, the Powerpuff Girls is getting a movie. A new movie starring Powerpuff Girls is in production for Warner Brothers Pictures Animation. The company made the announcement during its presentation at the Annecy International Animation Film Festival. No other details were shared at this time, and Polygon has reached out to Warner Brothers for more information. Obviously, Powerpuff Girls is a massive hit in the late 1990s, early 2000s.
Don't say it like that. It makes it sound so old.
It debuted 1998, so
yeah, I love the
almost 30 years ago. No, it did have a reboot in 2016 that was panned, and then they tried to make it live action.
They tried to make a live action, yeah.
That died on arrival. So,
yeah.
Interesting. They're trying to bring it to cinemas again, like in a full film, but maybe that's the way to go. Yeah.
I'm not for or against it, to be completely honest. I'm like, I don't know.
Indifferent.
I love, like, I watched a shit ton. Powerpuff Girls was one of my favorite shows to watch on Cartoon Network growing up. I just cannot picture. I'm like, it's a bubble. Literally, it's Bubble's bubble. The show lives in a bubble. Can you do it again? No, I don't know. I think it's just one of those things. I'm like, you're just trying to recreate magic.
Yep.
They got no Mojo Jojo.
Yeah, obviously, Warner Brothers had a massive platform. They had a big presentation, obviously showcasing all the DC stuff, but they also announced like a full slate of films that they're working on, including Maggie Claus, All the Places Will Go. They've got a new film from the creator of Has Been Hotel called what's it called? Prehistoria, which apparently features magical dinosaurs. So that looks promising. You know, that seems like a smart wagon to hit your car to.
That's a saying, I believe. Yeah, I think you're
slightly
on the path.
Slightly stuff. Other big things. They announced that Donkey is coming in 2028.
Donkey as in Winnie the Pooh?
As in Trakt.
Oh, sorry. That is a really good example of how different my mind is, or maybe my age. I don't know.
Why would, when I say donkey, why do you think Eeyore and not donkey?
I think it's because I don't say, like, if I say Eeyore, I go donkey.
You say donkey.
In my head, I go donkey.
I mean, let's be fair. That would be a awesome road trip if, like, buddy cop film.
For a second, I was ready
Donkey
to
and Eeyore. Let's put that out in the universe.
The crossover you didn't know you needed.
Is Eeyore public domain yet?
Yeah. We're making waffles. Oh, want to eat waffles. Don't even bother making waffles. We're just going to die tomorrow.
They're just going to be soft.
They're just going to be soft and uncooked. Every time I have waffles, they leave me disappointed.
Yes. Donkey returns audiences to a far, far away land in telling the adventure-seeking title character's origin story.
What the fuck
is Donkey a character that needed an origin story?
No, I don't think so. I really don't think so.
But we're getting it, so that's something. This was an interesting one. In the latest example of how Keanu Reeves can do virtually anything, Deadline reported on Monday that this John Wick star is in talks to lead a live-action hybrid Lego movie. It would find Reeves reuniting with director Josh Cooley, the pair worked together on Toy Story 4, in which Reeves voiced the Daredevil Duke Kaboom, parody of the Evel Knievel story toy. According to Deadline, Universal developed its new Lego movie with Reeves in mind after not greenlighting any Lego scripts after acquiring the rights in 2020.
I have a question for this. Is the original Lego movie not a hybrid?
I guess not in the traditional sense.
But, I mean...
Not in when you think hybrid, you think Space Jam.
Sure, I guess, yeah. Okay. If that's...
You imagine the animated things, like, interacting with the...
Yeah. In that case, I don't see how that works. Because Lego is small.
Maybe they would get big, or maybe Keanu Reeves falls and gets shrunk. We'll have to wait and see, but it does sound wild at the very least.
At the very least.
The properties that Warner Brothers is trying to make movies, Thundercats is getting a movie. As I'm reading from the playlist, as they pointed out, they're unsure if this is still the Adam Wingard film that he was working on, which was said to be a mix of CGI and traditional animation, or something completely new. But Thundercats, obviously, are much beloved.
Go.
Yeah, Thundercats Go. Much beloved, animated cartoon from before Powerpuff Girls. That has a very dedicated fan base who, if you remember, got very upset about that kids animated version of Thundercats that came out.
I don't recall that, but I believe you.
Yes. So I think we may have brought up Thundercats recently, obviously with Masters of the Universe coming out. Like, it's something similar that could be remade, but it being an animated film, I think that's probably a good move. Like, we all watch Cats. We don't need that again, right?
Yeah, I'm good. Well, I didn't watch Cats, but I mean, I've seen enough of Cats.
You saw Cats, saw bits of Cats.
Yeah. I don't need to see more of Cats to understand that.
Yep.
So I'm going to say no.
Another interesting announcement that again, something that I feel like we brought up recently on the show. They're doing an animated Conan the Barbarian, overseen by Dendry Tartovsky, who people would know as creator of Dexter's Laboratory and Samurai Jack, and has been recently doing the Adult Swim action series Primal. That seems like just like a really great fit of like creator and property. Like, I haven't watched much Primal, but it is very well received. I believe it's like nominated for Emmys every single time it comes out. So, like, even just the stock image that they had with the announcement, that looks good. So that's something to look forward to. Was there anything else of incredible notes? I mean,
incredible note.
We had some other footage like kind of drop. Like, they had the One Piece reboot had a teaser that came out that looks really good, close to the anime, the manga and that kind of stuff. I believe the week before, Gato was showing the first footage of the next Pixar film.
The teaser trailer for that was put out.
Yeah.
Looks alright.
Yeah, it looks pretty good, or at least a little fun thing. So, yeah. Looking forward to all these animated films that are coming down the pipeline. Still a very strong medium. I will say, apparently they're working on a Tom and Jerry reimagining. I don't know if you were the same as me. There was a trailer for a Tom and Jerry movie before Minions.
No, I don't think I was there for that. The trailers.
No, there was a trailer for a new Tom and Jerry movie. It does not look good. It was like, where has this movie come from?
I feel like I've seen that though. I was about to say I've seen it. I don't remember where I watched it. Maybe I just randomly saw it somewhere.
Potentially. I was just like, how did I, who have,
you care about
trailers every week,
I've definitely watched
trailer.
It. But no, I don't. I didn't see it in the cinema. But I remember just thinking it looked meh.
It's not good. So, what are you gonna do? All right, that's everything in news for this week. Let's move on to giving some thumbs to trailers. Of course, you can find all the trailers about to talk about in the show notes below. Kick things off, we've got Practical Magic 2, directed by Suzanne Bier, starring Sandra Bullock, Nicole Kidman, Diane Wiest, Stockard Channing, Joey King, Lee Pace, Maisie Williams, Zolu Mariduena, and Solly McLeod. Set 25 years after the events of the first film, the story follows the Owens family as they face a new crisis when a discovery regarding the family's history and the origins of their magic comes to light. When Sally's daughter, Kylie, begins to uncover hidden family secrets and discover her own dark abilities, the family is plunged into a multi-generational struggle to finally break the curse that has haunted their lineage for centuries. The Owens women must once again unite, traveling from their home in Massachusetts to United Kingdom to confront the source of their magic and save the next generation of their family. Dylan, have you watched Practical Magic?
No, I have not watched Practical Magic.
Okay, I probably should have checked that before watching this trailer. Does this trailer make you want to watch Practical Magic?
No. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they're the same people, but I'm going to take it. I was like, I don't know, Joey King's kind of the age where she could be playing. She might have been in the first one, and I haven't even looked it up.
No, this movie's like 25 years old.
Okay, no then. Okay, I don't know. Lee Pace is in it. That's cool. Macy Williams is in it. That's cool. I'm going one up, one down. It did nothing much for me, but the trailer seemed fine. But no, I have not watched the original. What's it called again? Practical Magic.
Yeah.
I'm taking it you have.
I have not. So
okay.
Why would you think I would watch something?
I know the way you said I should have checked first. You were relying on me to.
I was relying on you.
You were relying on me, and guess what?
This reasonably prominent film. I have also not watched. I've watched. I remember knowing it's a thing, and obviously there was a push for a second film, but this trailer I don't think does anything for. I'm going to give it 2 thumbs down. I would be very surprised if this pleases anybody who watched the first movie. I don't know. I don't think there's much to go on here other than it's those characters again.
Yeah.
Isn't
that the whole point?
That is just my impression going into this blind, but I don't think this does a good job of selling people on this movie. Like, as a trailer, it's not a good trailer, so it needs to get 2 thumbs down. But yeah, I guess we'll see. I haven't seen what other people thought of it who are actually fans. So, Practical Magic 2 is coming soon. It's on the 10th of September. The next trailer is for The Dink, directed by Josh Greenbaum, starring Jake Johnson, Ben Stiller, Chloe Fineman, Christine Taylor, Patton Oswalt, Martin Cove, Mary Steinberg, Ed Harris, and our boy Aaron Chen. Desperate to save a struggling country club and earn his father's respect, a washed-up tennis pro is compelled to break a sacred vow and do the unthinkable, play pickleball. Dylan, what do you think of the trailer for The Dink?
A double thumbs up. Looks like a silly good time with a bunch of people we like and a bunch of people we enjoy seeing on screen. Also, I like how we just keep adding people to your boys list because it was Ronnie
Asian and Australians.
Yeah, I feel like if I said we're claiming the Asian Australians, but since you're here, I think it's okay. But we do apparently claim all the Asian Australians. But yes, Aaron Chen's in it, so I'm happy about that. Yes, Jake Johnson, good. I mean, I don't think he's off the top of my head. I'm like, Jake Johnson really star or anything? He's usually not the lead.
I mean,
is he?
He's usually the lead in his stuff. Like,
maybe I haven't watched his stuff.
What was that? That was the one who was sad in a cab.
He was what?
In Cop Car. He was one of the leads in Cop Car.
Because Cop Car.
Is him and one of the Wayans, the younger Wayan, Damon Wayans Jr. They steal Cop Car.
I haven't watched that. Whatever it is, it's not ringing any bells.
I think Jake Johnson's been the lead in a few things.
Okay. Well, I can't think of anything where I've seen. So I guess that was another thing where I was standing out to me. I'm like, oh, Jake Johnson in the lead. That's cool. Anyway, yeah, double thumbs up.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up. I think it's a really funny trailer. I'd like, as someone who knows,
Let's Be Cops.
Let's Be Cops. I know there's a movie called Cop Car, but I got them mixed up.
Let's Be Cops is what you were referring to.
Yes. Yeah, I enjoy the jokes. It's really funny seeing Aaron Chen front and center. Like,
yeah.
Even like in the trailer, it's like his name was like one of the names above the poster and that kind of stuff. And it's just him doing his personality in there. So I mean, there's nothing. It's not like he's transformed or anything, but his delivery and all that kind of stuff is really fun. The jokes about Andy Roddick are good, and just obviously pickleball is not a massive thing here in Australia, so I don't think we're still very much tennis, but tennis country clubs aren't a thing here really in Australia either. So.
No. Well, I don't know. I'll tell you that there's a place that's recently opened here, a pickleball, racquetball sort of place. Very popular, doing well.
Very popular.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. But yeah, I think this looks like a lot of fun across the board. Everybody looks really good. So, The Dink is coming to Apple TV Plus on the 25th of July. Next trailer is for Sense and Sensibility, directed by Georgia Oakley, starring Daisy Edgar Jones, Esme Creed Miles, Katarina Balfe, Frank Dillon, George McKay, and Fiona Shaw. 3 sisters experience love and heartbreak after they're forced to leave their family estate with their widowed mother and move to a humble cottage. Dylan, how familiar are you with Sense and Sensibility, and what do you think of this trailer?
I'm aware of it as a thing, I guess. I think is my clarification for what I know about it. Like, I'm aware it's a Jane Austen book. Other than that, I don't think I've watched any adaptations, of which I think there's a couple, right? Was Keira
Yes.
Knightley in one?
No, you're thinking of
Some of these things all blend together.
yeah. What's the
Pride and Prejudice?
That's
Yeah,
Pride and
okay.
Prejudice. I believe
So who's been in Sense and Sensibility before?
the big one that I've seen people very have like attribute to Sense and Sensibility is what's her name? 1995. Emma Thompson, I think.
Okay, yeah, I know. Yep. Okay.
That's the one people like point to as they're directed by Ang Lee. So
yeah. Okay.
yeah, Emma Thompson, Kate Winslet in that film. So that's the one people point to as the definitive version of this story.
Okay.
Hugh Grant in that movie as well. Crazy.
I'm going to
Sorry.
I'm going to double thumbs up for this. I think it looked really good. I think the cast is pretty much the standout reason of Daisy Edgar Jones and George McKay are two very prominent current up and coming leading actors of their own regard. However, the thing that really got me is that Bodhi Braithnosh, however you say her name, I've pointed this girl out twice now, and I'm going to say she was sensational in Hamnet, and she was the best part of Shelter. So I see her again in this and go, oh, there's a maybe this is this is going to, maybe I'm spotting a star in making in this girl. Is all I'm going to say. Yes, Fiona Shaw's in it as well. So this overall looks great. Double thumbs up.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up as well. I think it looks fantastic. I really like Daisy Edgar Jones, so seeing her as like the focal point is very good. George McKay looks really great as well, and I'm also not super familiar. I feel like when I said the plot of the film, I'm like, oh yeah, I think I've seen that story before. Whether it is like an adaptation of Sense and Sensibility, or they're just like doing something that is based on Sense and Sensibility, but not specifically Sense and Sensibility, but yeah, I think it looks really great. So looking forward to that one to see how it's received by Jane Austen fans. Sense and Sensibility is coming to cinemas on the 15th of October. Next trailer is for The Debut, directed by Jesse Eisenberg, starring Julianne Moore, Jesse Eisenberg, Paul Giamatti, Halle Bailey, Havana Rose Leo, Colton Ryan, Lily Cooper, Malik Pancoli, and Bernadette Peters. When Mona Friedman lands a small part in a community theater production, she transforms from a shy housewife into a zealous method actor who is willing to do anything to protect the artistic integrity of her role, even if it means waging war against the show's domineering director. Dylan, what do you think of the trailer for The Debut?
Double thumbs up. Looks fantastic. I think this pairing of Julianne Moore and Paul Giamatti has potential awards, sneaky award season stuff written in it. I don't know if I'm jumping ahead too far, but I don't know. See a lot of potential here. It just looks, I don't know, dark comedy-ish, or at least on the line. Yes, keen.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up for me as well. Like, it looks wild. Just really good. Like, and the crazy thing is, I believe this also, like, at the end, it shows music and lyrics by Jesse Eisenberg. So there is also a musical element to this that hasn't been pointed to at all in this, which I guess makes sense because that's how you market musicals now. You don't like show any of the music for the actual musical. You just say it's a musical or hide it's a musical to get people in the door. Julianne Moore looks fantastic. Paul Giamatti looked really great as well. Like, this dynamic is really fascinating. So, very excited, and like it is weird. This odd comedy. What's the scene with Julianne Moore and Jesse Eisenberg where she makes like a wild acting choice, and he's like, Brace character to say, is that what she's going to do?
Yeah.
So good. So the debut, I haven't been able to nail down a release date.
Shockingly.
It's definitely not releasing here in Australia anytime soon. I believe it might be releasing sometime in, they said June, but that's just too soon. It can't be releasing in June in the US. So the debut coming at some point.
There we go.
That's helpful. Last trailer for this week, Clara and the Sun, directed by Taika Waititi, starring Jenna Ortega, Amy Adams, Mia Tharia, Aran Murphy, Steve Buscemi, Natasha Lyonne, and Rachel House. In a dystopian future where technology advances in genetic engineering have divided humans into strict, isolated social classes, an obsolete companion android named Clara tries to bond with Josie, a sick girl for whom she was purchased. Dylan, what did you think of the trailer for Clara and the Sun?
Double thumbs up. I both think it looks like a lot of fun, and I overall enjoy the cast and everything. But then I'm also having this like sort of fatigue of AI companion movie things. But
Like
still, I don't know. There's just all the horror ones is the problem, I guess. There's just so many.
This is a fun switch.
Yeah, no.
Clara's not trying to kill anybody. It's crazy.
True. I was trying to look up. I looked it up. So it's based on a book.
So it's
already
by
been
the same
adapted.
author. What? I don't think it's been adapted before.
Sure.
Maybe
not. Oh, some of these other stuff's been adapted.
Yeah. So Most Promo is written by Kazuzo Ishiguro, whose novel Never Let Me Go was previously adapted. That's the one with Andrew Garfield, Cara Mulligan, and Keira Knightley.
Which is really good.
Yeah, which is really good. So 2 thumbs up from me. I think it looks really good. It doesn't look like a Taika film or sound like a Taika film outside of the last like little stinger scene at the end of the trailer. That's the only scene that really felt like Taika. Maybe a little bit of what Jenna Ortega is doing. Like some of her delivery feels like it. That sounds like somebody who could be in a Taika film. And Rachel House in general. Just seeing Rachel House is like, oh, okay, this is a Taika film. But yeah, I'm here for it. I mean, it is kind of a story that we've seen before of like the robot companion trying to understand humanity and that kind of stuff. So
the problem is also like the book is before this current lot of AI story stuff. It's like before, but we do have a lot. I mean, even there's that Apple TV show that you like that I still got around to watching it with Alexander Skarsgård and
that's not quite this, but yes, Murderbot.
No, but it's just a lot of AI friend stuff. It was a Colin Farrell one. That was a more serious AI friend one. There's like a mixture of AI friend stuff, AI horror stuff, AI silly stuff. It's just a lot.
I mean, robots are the rage. So androids, Alien was all about androids and what it is to be human and that kind of stuff. So
you got more spread out though. You know what I mean? Like at the moment, I feel like I'm getting a lot, which I understand why. It's because it's very current.
They want to talk about the current things and themes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it looks really good. Jenna Ortega, is showing her range, from, she can do spooky stuff, but also do what seems to be comedy here. So,
I mean, spooky stuff is comedy too. Some would say
it can be.
Yeah.
Clara and the Sun is coming to Australian cinemas on the 22nd of October. All right, let's move on to this week's top 3.
Definitely in the top 3.
And by the time next week's episode of What Do You Want to Watch will be released, this year's Primetime Emmy Award nominations will have dropped. So this week, we're doing top 3. What year is it? 78th Primetime Emmy Award nomination hopes. Dylan, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is sorry, I was finding my list. Star Wars Mole Shadow Lord gets nominated in the animated series category because I thought that series was really good. Obviously, I think I liked it a bit more than you. And in a category that usually falls into the same whatever stuff every time. It's a category that can get the same couple things nominated consistently. I think it would be good to see that show in there. I think especially as far as it goes, animation quality wise, very good.
My number 3, just some dropout love. I know Game Changer is put itself up for a bunch of game show categories. Hope there's a really tough nut to crack, but last season was really great. Vic McCallis is really good in Very Important People, whether she can crack that category. I would love to see, and even just the craft stuff, like behind the scenes, like for Game Changer and that kind of stuff. As big fans of all the dropout stuff, I'd love to see them get some recognition, mainstream recognition. So that is my number 3. Dylan, what's number 2?
My number 2 is that Widow's Bay gets all the nominations it deserves. Maybe some recency bias, but I mean, I think I would put up Best Comedy Show. I think Matthew Rhys should be nominated. I think that girl, whose name I've already forgot, I'm sorry, but I think she's very good, should be up for Best Supporting. You can get some of the episodes, the hotel one, some of the other stuff. Like, I think Widow's Bay.
My number 2, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II gets nominated for Wonder Man. I think is sensational. That I think it is a performance that I feel like will also be appreciated by Hollywood because it is like very in jokes and the story of a actor who takes themselves so seriously and that kind of stuff. So I feel like it's going to work for people who do end up giving it a chance. I feel like it was a show that was a little bit underrated. One, because it was part of the Marvel machine, and 2, it was just kind of, it wasn't even like massive treatment.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would love to see him get nominated. I think he'll probably be in the comedy category for if anything. So that would be really good. I'm going to jump in here and say my number 1. A Night of the Scene of Kingdoms getting nominated for Best Drama Series. I think that was a really fantastic season. Obviously, House of Dragon got nominated as first season. Game of Thrones has been nominated a bunch of times. I think this is worthy of being in that discussion as well. So maybe they'll go comedy because it is quite funny at times. I don't know how they're going to work the category. They're 30 minutes. They're short episodes, so maybe they get away with it. Yeah. This is the new Bear. Dylan, I've jumped in because I have a very strong inkling. What is your number 1? I didn't want to steal your thunder. Dylan, what is your number 1 Emmy hope for the 78th Primetime Emmy Awards?
My number 1 Emmy hope, as has been my life's work at this point in my many years, is to get Ray Seahorn an Emmy.
Mm-hmm.
And so my number 1 hope is that Ray Seahorn is nominated for Pluribus and that she can win a fucking Emmy finally.
That she is nominated and she is the only nominee. That is your dream scenario for this.
Is that the only way you think she can win?
Well, that's the only way you're going to be sure this week.
Well, I think she has a pretty good chance this year.
I think so. Like I'm not
saying like she's a shoo-in, super easy, but I think she has a pretty good chance. And I might finally be able to change my social media accounts after, I swear, 10 years.
See who people think she's going to be up against.
Yes, because, dear listeners, I'm not sure if you know, but it's like my Twitter banner and stuff has been Ray Seahorn for, I feel, 10 years at this point. Facebook banner as well, I think I changed it to when I was trying to get a one for Better Call Saul. And my fucking bio on explosionnetwork.com is and has been for many, 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 many years at this point, currently on a mission to get Ray Seahorn an Emmy. So I really, I'm just putting it into the world.
Reading from the Hollywood Reporter, their projected nominees are Michelle Pfeiffer for The Madison, Kathy Bates for Matlock, Zendaya for Euphoria, Kerry Russell for The Diplomat, and Rhea Seahorn for Pluribus. I would think Rhea Seahorn has a very, very strong chance.
I think she's a shoo-in. I think she's a shoo-in for a nomination. Like, I feel like her getting a nomination is when the nominations come in and her name's on the list, I'll be like, yep, good. It's just the battle for the win, you know?
Mm-hmm. I feel like this is the year.
I hope so. I really, really hope so.
Cool. All right, Dylan, this week, what do you want to watch?
This week, I would like to watch Jackass Best and Last. Obviously, I'm a huge Jackass fan. We've talked about this before. In fact, we did a run of episodes on this podcast in the lead up to Jackass Forever. When was that? A couple of years ago now?
Yeah.
With Ryan Betson. That was a lot of fun.
It was.
And Ash got to watch them all for the first time and experience Jackass for the first time with his. But yeah, obviously I have a attachment to the series. So I'm looking forward to watching what is the last film as everyone gets a bit too old. And then on streaming front, my pick is The Man Will Burn, which is the HBO 4-part docu series about Burning Man.
Ooh, yeah. I watched the trailer for that. That looks pretty good.
Yeah, it looks really good.
All right. I'll say I'm also looking forward to Jackass Forever. No, Best and Last. That's the one. Yeah. Looking forward to checking that out. And then on the TV front, X-Men 97 season 2 starts this week. Season 1 was a fantastic series with one of the best episodes of that year of television. So I'm looking forward to more mutant shenanigans, they're bringing in Apocalypse, so there's going to be time travel and all sorts of crazy shit. So looking forward to them giving it all a 90 spin. So very keen to check that out. What was I going to say? Nope. It's all off my mind. I saw something that triggered something and it has not come back.
I'll tell you what it is.
Oh, no.
It's that by the time you listen to this episode, we are T-minus 2 weeks away from the Odyssey, everyone.
That is crazy. No, what it was, did you know that Johnny Knoxville's hosting the Fear Factor, the newest iteration of Fear Factor?
I did know this because I followed all the things on social media and have seen clips and stuff, whatever posted. I've not found a way to watch it in Australia, though.
It just looks like Jackass. With his tone and him messing with all these people.
He's not messing with them. They've signed up to it, you know?
But he's like putting shock collars on people.
Yeah,
and
but
all this kind of stuff, so.
Yeah, but they've asked for it, you know?
You don't think the Jackass people signed up to be on?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, so it's the same thing.
I guess.
There's just a tonal difference to what you remember of like that show. Like it being like eerie and like them meant to be scared and that kind of stuff. Whereas this seems like a lighter tone, you know. So
yeah, all the clips I've watched look fun. It's literally just got the normal Johnny Knoxville, Jackass, like cackling laughter, whatever, while people are screaming because they're going through their fears. Looks like fun. Looks a good time. I would like to watch it if anyone can find a way for it to come to Australia.
All right, let us know what you want to watch this week by going to explosionnetwork.com/follow. Let us know on social media. If help us out here. What do you want to watch? Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser. Leave us 5 stars. And you can leave 5 stars. Just tell people about the show. And if you want to help us at Explosion Network with all our other podcasts like the before-mentioned Animated Wonders and all new DC Cast, head on over to explosionnetwork.com/support. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, keep watching stuff, I guess.